businessman Bernie Moreno announces his run for U.S. Senate in 2024. Plus, Louisville police released videos related to yesterday's deadly mass shooting at a downtown bank. And in sports, we give a little update to Ohio's baseball team, as well as some news from the softball team. Newswatch starts right now.
Ohio GOP businessman Bernie Moreno announces his run for U.S. Senate in 2024. Good evening, I'm Madison Moore.
And I'm Silver Barker. Welcome to Newswatch. Moreno's bid places him in what's likely to be a highly competitive race for Ohio's second Senate seat. Moreno mounted an unsuccessful campaign for a Republican Senate seat last year, funding the campaign with millions of dollars from his personal fortune before dropping out ahead of the primary. The 2022 Senate race was one of the costliest of the year, and 2024 is likely to follow suit. If Moreno wins the Republican nomination, he would go against current Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown will be seeking his fourth term and has already stockpiled more than $3 million in his Senate campaign. He'll be looking to keep his seat in a state that has trended increasingly Republican. Moreno is now the second Republican official to officially jump into the race after Matt Dolan announced his candidacy in January. Ohio's State Board of Education is weighing in on a Republican-backed plan that would dramatically affect its power. The bill would give much of the state school board's authority over curriculum and other decisions to an appointee of the governor. The board approved a resolution to opposing the plan, saying since the board includes elected members and has public meetings, it should retain its powers and lawmakers should involve the board in education decisions. Appointed President Paul LaRue opposed the resolution, saying he's proud of the board's work, but it needs to be open to change. The board overhaul was proposed last fall after Democrats won 7 of the 11 elected seats. Currently, the bill is in the House after the bill passed in the Senate. Ohio's interim school superintendent is leaving the position for a district-level job as lawmakers considered major changes to the State Department of Education. Dr. Stephanie Siddons, who has been interim superintendent since June 2022, will now be deputy superintendent for the Upper Arlington School District starting July 1st. Her decision to leave comes as Republican lawmakers move a bill to rename the agency the Department of Education and Workforce, with the superintendent now as an advisory role.
A truck carrying 40,000 pounds of toxic soil from the East Palestine train derailment crashed and overturned in Unity Township. State officials say roughly 20,000 pounds of soil spilled onto the roadway following the crash, but officials say there is no threat to the nearby waterways because the spill was contained. The truck was traveling northbound on Route 165 when its right side tires went off the highway. The driver then tried to steer back on the road when the truck overturned, spilling the soil. State officials say the Ohio EPA responded to the scene. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost is suing a charity claiming to be collecting donations benefiting residents in East Palestine. Yost says Mike Papel presented his Ohio Clean Water Fund as a nonprofit organization acting on behalf of the Second Harvest Food Bank of the Mahoning Valley to provide residents with emergency aid and bottled water. Instead, Papel and others allegedly pocketed at least $131,000 of the roughly $141,000 raised. Representatives of Second Harvest Food Bank tell the Attorney General's office they did not agree to a partnership with Papel. Yost says he is seeking a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction to prohibit Papel from engaging in charitable solicitations and preserve existing donations.
West Virginia reaches a settlement with popular e-cigarettes maker Juul. Juul will pay a total of $7.9 million to the state. The lawsuit alleges the company misled consumers about the nicotine strength in its products and of targeting teenagers through social media by using celebrities. In a statement, Juul says the settlement was, quote, another step in its ongoing commitment to resolve issues from the company's past. Students attending 6 schools in Southeast Ohio for their commercial driver license have the opportunity to receive financial aid thanks to the Ohio Department of Higher Education CDL student and program. Here's the list of the schools taking part in the program. The aid is given in 2 parts, as a grant and as a forgivable loan. The program is meant to help job growth in the state. Students can apply for the scholarship at thecareercenter.net.
Good evening, everybody, and I hope you had a chance to enjoy the fantastic weather that we had today here in Athens. And if you haven't quite yet, you still have the opportunity to. Right now, it is 75 degrees here in Athens. Wind's going to be from the southwest at 9 miles per hour. Perfect visibility out, really low humidity at 14%. And our barometer is going to be falling because we have a really strong high pressure system going in. Now right here it says there's heavy rain, but what's actually going on is our radar is confusing some smoke from a nearby fire as a rain system, and that's why it says heavy rain. It's actually clear here in Athens. So you can see we have just a little bit of an error right here. All across the region though, it'll be perfectly clear, beautiful skies as we get through the rest of our day. Temperatures right now are in the mid to low 70s because we've just got so much warm air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, and it is creating just a fantastic day for everyone. We saw a high temperature of 74 degrees today under mostly sunny skies and a low temperature of 48. And that's all I have for our first look at the weather. We're going to find out why the temperature varies so much between night and day later on in my full forecast, but now we'll take you back to the desk.
Thanks, Cam. Located in the countryside outside of Athens, a nonprofit organization is helping women who struggle with substance use disorder. Newswatch reporter Lexi Lepoff has the latest success story to come out of Serenity Grove.
At 42 years old, Charity Whitcraft is working her first full-time job at Passionworks Studios, helping transform sheets of metal into works of art.
This is kind of the first job that I've worked and had for longer than a few months, a couple months.
In and out of foster homes, Whitcraft's upbringing made routine and stability a stranger. Her substance use disorder began at just 15 years old, leading to poor choices and legal troubles.
I was still real depressed, and didn't know where I was going from there.
But all of that changed when Whitcraft found Serenity Grove.
My recovery really started when I got to Serenity Grove. They've saved my life. They've gave me a life.
The nonprofit provides a safe home for active recovery for up to 5 women. It is in the process of expanding so it can house up to 8. The group helps women attend recovery meetings, apply for jobs, and get connected with any resource they need.
They didn't set out to become an alcoholic or an addict.
Director Betsy Anderson works closely with women like Whitcraft every day. She keeps operations running and says the key is empathy.
A person who suffers from substance use disorder is many more things in addition. So I think looking past the labels that we tend to put on people.
Whitcraft says Anderson was a vital part of her journey.
Betsy was good as gold. Like, she was so good. Like, there's times that I don't know how but she did. She put up and didn't kick me out, like, when there's times that I probably should have been.
Whitcraft came to Serenity Grove in fall of 2021 and moved out into her own apartment 2 weeks ago. She has been in active recovery for 2.5 years.
I'm hopeful. I am very hopeful. Life is, so it's good today. It's good.
For Newswatch, I'm Lexi Lepoff in Athens.
Serenity Grove is celebrating its 5-year anniversary this May. They have helped 42 women since opening in 2018. After the break, what Louisville police are saying about yesterday's mass shooting. Plus, more on the best ways to spend your tax refund check. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
And why is it sweater weather by day, sweater weather in the morning and super warm at day? And when are we going to get another taste of winter? We'll find out all that and more on my full forecast after the break when Newswatch returns.
People ask, what was the American strategy? The Americans did not have a strategy for Afghanistan.
Drawing on years of reporting from both sides of the war.
You set off a car bomb, it's going to kill innocent civilians.
This was fighting.
It wasn't clear they had the patience or the understanding.
We asked an enormous amount of those on the ground in particular.
Missteps and miscalculations.
Why did we fail on our mission, and who was responsible?
Part 2 premieres Tuesday, April 11th, 9 Central, only on PBS.
On episode 3 of La Frontera, I'm going back to the middle of the map and exploring from Arizona and Sonora to Chihuahua and New Mexico, where an architect is rethinking spaces to bring communities together. Researchers place cameras along the most biodiverse stretch of the border to get stunning pictures of wildlife. And I eat some famous Mennonite cheese that feels like I'm going back in time.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
In Costa Rica, much of life depends on a tiny little bird. An architect who brings flowers to the fields and fruit to the forest. The result is a realm bursting with wildlife. This is the hummingbird effect.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
The weather is wacko.
Hurricanes are intensifying.
Extreme weather.
Drought and heat waves are more severe.
Is threatening America.
30 or 40 mile an hour wind howls for days on end.
But across the country, people are fighting back.
We're not going anywhere.
With innovation.
We can substantially cool down cities.
And ancient wisdom.
It's worked for 10,000 years. It can work again.
Weathering the future on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Louisville Metro Police released body cam and security footage from yesterday's mass shooting that killed 5. Police Chief Jacqueline Gwynn Villaroyal and Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey provided updates at a press conference earlier this evening. Josh Barrick, Juliana Farmer, Tommy Elliott, James Tutt, and Deanna Eckert died after a gunman entered the bank and opened fire. Police say the shooter was a bank employee about to be fired and live-streamed the attack. Meta removed the video from Instagram. Investigators are reviewing the video to piece together a timeline of the attack. The gunman was killed in a shootout with police. Laura Aguirre has more from Louisville.
As Louisville police laid out the facts of Monday's deadly bank shooting,
he purchased the weapon used on April the 4th legally from one of the local dealerships here in Louisville.
Officials were clear on the broader public safety threat of gun violence.
We know he texted or called at least one person to let them know he was suicidal and contemplating harm. But we don't have the tools on the books to deal with someone who is an imminent danger to themselves or to others.
Some leaders who spoke Tuesday had close ties to one of those killed or injured.
I knew Tommy well. His wife even worked with my wife for a time at a company here in town.
Yesterday, I've lost a very close friend in another workplace shooting.
Officer Nicholas Wilt just graduated from the police academy on March 31st. I just swore him in.
Officer Wilt remains in critical condition at the University of Louisville Hospital.
For 15 years, I've cared for victims of violence and gunshot wounds. And people say I'm tired, but I'll be answered. It's more than tired. I'm weary. When you hear someone screaming, "Mommy," or "Daddy," it just becomes too hard day in and day out.
We need policies in place that will keep this from happening again, so that thoughts and prayers do not have to be offered to yet another community ripped apart by the savage violence coming from guns.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
As for Kentucky's southern neighbor, Tennessee, the state's Republican governor is calling for tougher gun laws after a school shooting in Nashville killed 6 people, including 3 children. Governor Bill Lee says he wants the legislature to restrict firearm purchases, and he says he wants a bill passed during his legislative session, which ends in a few weeks. Lee put the responsibility on lawmakers to draw up a bill and indicated he wants it to target dangerous people.
I'm asking the legislature to bring forth thoughtful, practical measures to do that, to strengthen our laws to separate those dangerous people from firearms, while at the same time preserving the constitutional rights of the people of this state.
Lee also announced a new executive order requiring state officials to review the current process for purchasing firearms and find holes where information is not shared efficiently.
Well, as you can see behind me, there's not a whole lot going on our national satellite image. This is because of a very, very strong high-pressure system that has begun to take hold over most of the eastern United States. Here it is right here, moving sort of clockwise, and that is going to be very strong. You can even see a slight low-pressure system try to spin up here and then get stopped as it attempts to move into this high pressure. So that is just how strong we're talking. Tonight we're expecting a low temperature of 38 degrees under mostly clear skies. Sunset will be at 8:03 and sunrise will be at 6:54 in the morning. And then by tomorrow, our high is expected to be around 78 degrees, which is almost a 40-degree jump from our nightly low. That is going to be because during these high pressure setups, there's no clouds in the sky. When there's no clouds in the sky at nighttime, our heat's going to escape a lot faster, which means we're going to drop down to super, super low temperatures, 38 tonight, 47 tomorrow, and then at the day, there's nothing to impede the sun's rays from warming us up, and that's why we're going to see a high temperature near 80 degrees tomorrow under mostly sunny skies as some clouds are going to begin to gather, and you can just see the huge temperature change down to 36, 34 at nighttime, and then it's going to warm up so quickly because of that whole thing. And with all the warmth and all the low relative humidities, there's a fire weather watch out towards Pennsylvania. Those same conditions are going to be persistent in here in southeast Ohio, so make sure you're careful if you plan on burning anything or having a fire. On our surface analysis, there isn't a whole lot going on. There's this high pressure center centered over here in southern Kentucky that is going to continue to last through into tomorrow night, and then by the time the next day rolls around, it is just going to move a little bit to the east, and then out here we can see a little bit of a low pressure system that's going to start to churn, make its way through here, and that is going to put an end to the beautiful weather we've had and potentially cause some thunderstorms, some clouds, some rain to impede your weekend plans. By Friday, we have possible thunderstorms, still with a high temperature of 80 degrees, but those lows are going to warm up with the advent of clouds. 55 degrees. By Saturday, 30% chance of showers, around the same high and low temperature. And then by Sunday, we have a 40% chance of showers, high of 74, low of 45. We'll have a little bit of a cool off. And then we'll take a look, wrap it up with our big 7-day outlook by Wednesday. 78 degrees and 47 is the low. A sunny day on Thursday as well, 79, low of 48. Then Friday, that low pressure system will come spoil the fun, and it will be a cutoff low, so it's going to stick around for a while. Have a persistent chance of showers through the weekend, 80 on Saturday, 74 Sunday, 61 Monday. The temperatures are going to continue to drop, and they will drop through the nighttime as well. 54 degrees Saturday, down to 45 Sunday, 40 on Monday. Then Tuesday, that low pressure system is going to stall out just a little bit on us, keep skies overcast. There's going to be a lot of moisture in the area, and we will be back down to a daytime high of 55 degrees. So please go ahead and enjoy the weather while we have the opportunity today through Thursday until that system gets here on Friday. And that was your full look at the weather. I'll take you back over to the desk.
Thanks, Cam. Investors and regulators are on high alert for signs of trouble in the financial system following recent bank failures. Now they're honing in on the downturn in the $20 trillion U.S. commercial real estate market. Gloria Pazmino explains the potential threat posed by America's empty offices.
The COVID-19 pandemic brought a major change to how many businesses operate.
For so many people, not going to the office as much as they have before has had a really seismic impact on commercial real estate.
And a potential problem for America's banks.
There's no question that there is some risk in the system associated with these changes simply because so much has changed.
Across the U.S., offices sit vacant or underused. Average occupancy is less than half of where it was in March of 2020, according to data from security provider Castle. And that is dragging down the value of these properties.
The real question is for the owners of these properties, whether they are experiencing financial distress or will in the future.
The problem, banks lend significant money to this sector. Goldman Sachs estimates that 55% of U.S. office loans sit on banks' balance sheets. The decrease in values puts more strain on already stressed out banks.
We're well aware of the concentrations people have in commercial real estate.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell remained confident when asked about the danger posed by commercial real estate last month.
The banking system is strong, it is sound, it is resilient, it's well capitalized.
I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
Chances are you got a tax refund this year, but what is the best way to use that extra cash? Patrick Cornell has 5 smart ways to stretch those dollars according to One Money Coach.
This year's tax refund is about 11% smaller than last year's, but at nearly $3,000, it's a prime opportunity to make some smart money moves.
Using it in ways that you can leverage certain smart aspects of your finances to really catapult yourself in 2023 and beyond.
Money coach Lynette Calfani-Cox has these 5 tips to spend your 2023 tax refund wisely. Number 1, create or boost your emergency savings fund, and then don't touch it.
We know from study after study that the average American doesn't even have $500 socked away to deal with an emergency.
Number 2, tackle high interest debt. Either pay off all debt or get on a plan to make some major progress this year. This goes for credit cards, personal loans, or any outstanding debt with a high interest rate.
It'll improve your cash flow because by knocking out some debts, by either eliminating them or by reducing them, you're going to be paying out less every single month to banks, to credit unions, etc.
Number 3, purchase a life insurance policy. Consider a policy that covers about 5 to 10 times your annual salary. Number 4, show your retirement account some love. Increase the percentage you're contributing to a workplace retirement account or contribute to a traditional Roth IRA if you meet eligibility requirements. And finally, invest in yourself. Set aside some of that refund cash for a gym membership, a home gym, dental work, or a new wardrobe.
Other people might want to take on training or specialized courses or to get a certification or to join a mastermind group or to increase their skill set.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Here's one more tip. Use that refund money to start a college fund or consider mutual funds, which give you a broad investing diversification.
And coming up in sports here, all about the news for Ohio University's baseball and softball teams. These stories and more when Newswatch returns. And make sure you follow us on social media on Twitter at Newswatch_WOUB and on YouTube, WOUB PBS, and on Instagram, Newswatch_WOUB.
On episode 3 of La Frontera, I'm going back to the middle of the map and exploring from Arizona and Sonora to Chihuahua and New Mexico, where an architect is rethinking spaces to bring communities together. Researchers place cameras along the most biodiverse stretch of the border to get stunning pictures of wildlife. And I eat some famous Mennonite cheese that feels like I'm going back in time.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow from Boise, see books.
Oh, that is so fabulous that people really keep enjoying these.
And booze collectibles.
Whiskey collectibles are really hot right now.
Wow, that's too much. That surprises me.
It's Antiques Roadshow, next time from the Idaho Botanical Garden.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Millions of our grandparents were caught up in conflicts that shaped the 20th century.
This would have been your grandfather's experience, and it's really quite dramatic.
Hell in frozen water.
Now 4 international stars retrace their family footsteps across the globe.
People like your grandfather didn't just sit back to accept their condition.
Oh, this is amazing.
My grandparents' war.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
People ask, what was the American strategy? The Americans did not have a strategy for Afghanistan.
Drawing on years of reporting from both sides of the war.
You set off a car bomb, it's going to kill innocent civilians.
This was fighting.
It wasn't clear they had the patience or the understanding.
We asked an enormous amount of those on the ground in particular.
Missteps and miscalculations.
Why did we fail in our mission, and who was responsible?
Part 2 premieres Tuesday, April 11th, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
Welcome back, I'm Sully Beach. Ohio softball just defeated Kent State this afternoon with a final score of 3-2. With the win today, the Bobcats now have a conference record of 12-4 and an overall record of 22-16. They remain at the top spot in the MAC conference, 3 games ahead of Miami. From today's matchup, a couple key players to mention are Sydney Green and Cece Kendall. Green ripped a triple-double while Kendall came up with a double, both at the bottom of the 6th. Here's what Sydney Green had to say about her triple.
Just trying to get something square. I'd been dropping my shoulders, so big thing was just making an adjustment and driving through the ball and staying tall to hit it level, and it went off the bat pretty hard, so that was the goal.
And if that wasn't enough action for you, Ohio's baseball team the game just started 30 minutes ago. And right now, as we speak, the Bobcats are currently losing 7-0 against Marshall, and we can see Ohio University's current rate here. But as the game continues, we can expect good things from the Bobcats. Marshall is coming off a low, getting swept by Louisiana over the weekend, losing all 3 games. The Bobcats are still coming off the sweep against Toledo over the weekend. So if you're an Ohio University fan, keep that spirit up because the odds are definitely in your favor on this nice spring day. And guys, to be honest, the Bobcats better find a way to pull out a win here. I mean, it's so nice out. There's definitely tons of people watching this game, so it'd be a shame if they lost. Like, it's so nice out. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'll have to agree. Thank you, Sullivan. When we come back, we'll tell you where unclaimed luggage from airports sometimes go. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
People ask, what was the American strategy? The Americans did not have a strategy for Afghanistan.
Drawing on years of reporting from both sides of the war.
You set off a car bomb, it's going to kill innocent civilians.
This was fighting.
It wasn't clear they had the patience or the understanding.
We asked an enormous amount of those on the ground in particular.
Missteps and miscalculations.
Why did we fail on our mission, and who was responsible?
Part 2 premieres Tuesday, April 11th, 10, 9 Central, only on PBS.
Here's what's new this month with Passport.
Once upon a time in Merry England, there lived a boy called Tom.
We've got time, but maybe Christian doesn't.
More resilience in the natural world must be the key.
These and all your favorite shows are available with Passport. Support your PBS station and stream more with Passport on the PBS app.
Millions of our grandparents were caught up in conflicts that shaped the 20th century.
This would have been your grandfather's experience, and it's really quite dramatic.
Hell in frozen water.
Now 4 international stars retrace their family footsteps across the globe.
People like your grandfather didn't just sit back to accept their condition.
Oh, this is amazing.
My grandparents' war.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow from Boise. See books?
Oh, that is so fabulous that people really keep enjoying these.
And booze collectibles.
Whiskey collectibles are really hot right now.
Wow, that's too much. That surprises me.
It's Antiques Roadshow. Next time from the Idaho Botanical Garden.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Finally tonight, do you ever wonder what happens to the items people leave in unclaimed baggage? Well, a museum is opening soon in Alabama showcasing some of the oddities left in people's lost or forgotten luggage. The retail store Unclaimed Baggage is putting on the exhibit. The store has gotten its merchandise from major airlines since 1970. The museum will feature more than 100 rare finds from orphaned bags, including suits of armor, Egyptian artifacts, and shrunken heads. It will also tell the story of how a live rattlesnake was once found in a bag left at an airport. Yeah, so I mean, hearing that, like lost baggage, that has always been a fear of mine traveling on an airplane. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot afford to lose my baggage. Yes, absolutely. I have never had that happen to me personally, but I hear it's awful. Have you guys ever experienced that?
Yes, I have. I once lost my laptop on a flight, and I called them about it, and then they sent me somebody else's laptop. So isn't that an interesting thing?
No way.
It's got to be a huge mix-up there at the airports, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cam, can you tell us about our final weather tonight?
Of course I can tell us about the weather tonight. We'll take one last look at the weather real quick. We're expecting a low temperature of 38 degrees tonight under mostly clear skies. We're going to have a little bit of moisture make its way into the area and change that huge temperature swing, but we are still going to see high temperatures make their way all the way up to 78 tomorrow, and then low temperatures tomorrow night are expected to be around 48 with a few clouds in the sky. It won't quite be as clear, but it is still set to be a absolutely gorgeous day. And then we still have a chance at some severe fire weather in the region, so make sure if you choose to spend that outside and you're doing a fire to be safe. And then we're going to see some rain spoil some weekend fun, and that'll be it for your full look at the weather.
Thank you, Cam. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Madison Moore. And for all of us here at Newswatch, I'm Silver Barker. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
Support comes from Visit Athens County. More information can be found at AthensOhio.com. Athens, it's more than a place.